and welcome to Business Line. It seems more than 100,000 clients from all around the world were hiding millions of dollars in their HSBC private bank accounts. Its bankers helped celebrities, drug traffickers and arms dealers to dodge taxes back in 2007. How did it all work? Well, some scams had been used for years. For example, clients could open an account with a bank in a country that is not required to inform the authorities in their home country. In the HSBC case, not all of the accounts were illegal. Moreover, the documents that have been made public date back to before 2007. At that time, Switzerland was among the world's top tax havens, thanks to the country's famous or infamous bank secrecy.
The Swiss arm of the UK-based bank HSBC is squirming with embarrassment after details emerged that it helped wealthy clients evade billions in tax. HSBC says it's cooperating with the relevant authorities and has undergone a complete overhaul of its private banking business. The squirming continues as the man in charge of HSBC at the time was Stephen Green. Green, now a Conservative peer and a government minister, said, "As a matter of principle, I will not comment on the business of HSBC, past or present." More than 8,000 British nationals held accounts at HSBC in Switzerland. The tax authorities received the leaked documents in 2010 and identified 1,100 people who had not paid any taxes. All tax evasion, even old ones, one day will be uncovered. That's the way it is. Truth will prevail. To me, this shows very clearly that the topic of tax evasion, no matter where, is being addressed. There will be more revelations. The former bank employee who leaked the files to the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, Hervé Falciani, said, "I'm not a white knight, but there's something beautiful and exhilarating about establishing the truth."
Let's talk about tax. None of us likes to pay it, right? At least once per year, we all wonder, why do we pay so much and where does all this money go? First of all, it goes to the state. Let's take a closer look at the tax to GDP ratio. Sounds complicated, but actually it's not. That's the sum of our taxes and compulsory contributions as a percentage of GDP. In the European Union, it averaged around 39% in 2012, according to the latest Eurostat data. Within the EU, the tax burden varies significantly from country to country, from less than 30% of GDP in Lithuania to more than 40% in Austria. The biggest source of tax revenues is taxes on salaries, followed by consumption taxes, and then taxes on capital. Why do we care? Well, the more we earn, the more we pay. And if those who earn the most are not paying billions in taxes, this gap gets made up by the rest of us. Tax fraud and tax evasion affects everyone, for example, through the new roads, railways and schools that could be funded with that money. Our next story is from Romania, and at the first sight, it seems the country has little to do with Switzerland, but it definitely does.
An epidemic of ruinously high mortgage payments and negative equity is afflicting Central and Eastern Europe. People who bought into the dream of owning property in former communist states such as Romania are finding the price is now too high. To get lower interest rates, people like Daniela Gonia and her husband took out mortgages in Swiss francs rather than local currencies. But the franc has shot up in value, leaving them crushed by debt. She says, "I think I'm about to lose this house. I don't have any other option. 740 Swiss francs is 3,700 or 3,800 Romanian lei out of our total monthly income of 4,000 lei. I can't make any plans, so it is clear to me that I will lose the house." Many borrowers who complain the risks were not explained to them by lenders now owe more on their homes than they're worth and would suffer significant losses if they sell, as property prices have fallen since the boom years. This advisor to Romania's central bank says the authorities can do nothing at this point and will not intervene, but the government has been talking with the banks involved. calling on them to negotiate with borrowers on a case-by-case basis to try to find solutions. Hungary's government's been more proactive last November, forcing banks there to convert Swiss franc loans to the local currency at the exchange rate of the time. That option's become much more expensive for others like Poland, Croatia and Romania after the Swiss franc skyrocketed in mid-January when the Swiss National Bank unpegged it from the euro.
Do you remember what was it like to live in a pre-internet age? Many of us don't anymore. It has become such a huge part of our everyday lives that we simply take it for granted. But that may change. This is it. This is IT.
Do you like the internet the way it is today? If you do, you should know there's a war going on that will ultimately forge its future. I'm talking about the battle over net neutrality. That is the principle whereby internet service providers should treat all information equally without slowing down or accelerating the delivery of specific content. Why would they do that? Well, data packages run through broadband networks the same way cars travel on highways. The builders of those highways feel it's their right to charge someone like Netflix additional fees since streaming services can occupy up to 50% of their capacity, bandwidth that is. Advocates of net neutrality say that could bring about the creation of a two-speed internet, killing promising startups before they can get established. Critics, on the other hand, argue that net neutrality regulations will discourage investment and strangle the market with red tape. In the US, President Obama has called on the industry watchdog, the FCC, to ban so-called fast lanes by reclassifying the internet as a utility like gas and electricity. This is a road that is certain to spill over to the EU, where a compromise proposal is currently being developed by the Latvian presidency. That was it. That was IT.
The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries says it expects demand for oil this year to be much higher than previously thought. OPEC believes its strategy of letting prices fall to hurt other producers is beginning to take effect. But the International Energy Agency does not agree with that.
Don't expect a big rebound in oil prices this year or even next. That's the opinion of the International Energy Agency. It sees benchmark Brent crude averaging $55 a barrel this year and $60 next year as stockpiles continue to increase. The IEA, which advises industrialized countries on energy policy, says shale oil has changed the market. It's predicting that thanks to shale, the United States will remain the biggest contributor of supply growth over the next 5 years, with production pausing but continuing despite the low prices.
That was it for now. Thank you for watching and we'll see you next week.